In a move that has sent shockwaves through the political establishment, Nigel Farage has rung in the new year with a bold declaration that could reshape the UK's political landscape. The Reform UK leader, never one to shy away from controversy, announced sweeping plans to take on the failing two-party system and deliver what he calls a revolution for the working people. Promising to challenge the economic stagnation under Labour and the complacency of the Conservatives, Farage has doubled down on his calls to dismantle big government, roll back restrictive climate policies, and restore Britain's sovereignty. With local elections looming, Farage's announcement signals a no-holds-barred campaign to disrupt the status quo and give disillusioned voters a real alternative. Now, watch this video.
Well, I'm fortunate today to be giving you this New Year's message from Blenheim Palace. Not only a magnificent place and a wonderful place to come and visit, but of course the birthplace of Winston Churchill, who represented something when this country was indeed a great country, not just in terms of looking after its own people, but in standing up for the right things in the world. And I look back on 2024, a year that started with me in almost semi-retirement, not involved in active politics, approaching my 60th birthday with my first two grandchildren on the way. And I couldn't help thinking about what this country had been, the values that it had represented, and what it was looking like today. You know, the fish rots from the head down. We have been appallingly led in this country now for several decades. We are in societal decline. We are in economic decline. Most people are getting poorer with every year that passes. We're losing any sense of national identity. And we're actually teaching kids at school that people like Winston Churchill, born in this palace, are bad people and that our country's history is something to be ashamed of. It was also because I'd fought so hard and so long for us to get back our independence, Brexit, taking back control of our own lives, and to see that completely squandered by a Conservative Party who frankly never believed in it, but used it for electoral advantage in 2019. And almost knowing that Labour were going to win with a big majority, that I decided something had to be done. So I got back involved with politics, took the leadership of Reform UK, and I made one big promise. I said in that general election, albeit with 4 weeks to go, we'd get millions of votes and we'd establish a bridgehead in Parliament. Well, that is what we have done. And I think everybody acknowledges that with just a handful of MPs, we've made a real impact over the course of these last 6 months. And everything we do is based on values. And those values are around the things that matter to us: family, community and country. They're the things that got me back in politics. And we're going to campaign for us to look at history in a different way, for our kids to be proud of who we are as a nation. We're going to campaign for proper border controls. The fact that now 150,000 people, nearly all of them young men, have been able to catch dinghies across the English Channel and come into this country, frankly, is an outrage to everybody. But it isn't just that. Legal migration. Look at 2023. A Conservative Party in power promising us that net migration would be tens of thousands a year, and it was nearly 1 million. We're going to campaign to reduce the cost of living. I promise you the net zero plans put in place at the time of Theresa May, now being pursued by Ed Miliband in the most extraordinary way, will do nothing more than put up everybody's bills and close down British manufacturing industry. We want to make this country prouder. We want to make our borders secure. We want to make our people better off. And that message is resonating. And over the course of Christmas, tens of thousands of people have joined Reform UK.
What's your take on this game-changing announcement? Do you see Nigel Farage's vision as the shake-up Britain desperately needs? Or is it just more political theater? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We're eager to hear where you stand. Donald Trump's economic vision could supercharge 2025 and boost Nigel Farage's Reform Party as the dust of long-running conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East begins to settle. The global stage is set for a transformative year. Resolution in these regions promises to calm geopolitical tensions, stabilize markets, and drive down energy prices, a key inflationary factor. With the United States poised to become a dominant energy exporter, the ripple effects could be enormous. Cheaper fuel and heating costs will ease the strain on households and industries worldwide, fostering a more predictable economic environment that encourages investment and trade. At the heart of this potential boom is Donald Trump, whose presidency signals a sharp departure from the regulatory, heavy and high-tax policies championed by his predecessors. His push to slash bureaucracy and prioritize domestic energy production is a calculated gamble to unleash economic growth. The parallels with Argentina's Javier Milei are striking. By cutting waste and dismantling bloated government departments, Trump aims to showcase how lean governance can reinvigorate an economy. This bold strategy not only challenges America's status quo, but also pressures other nations, like the UK, to reconsider their own paths to prosperity. Contrast this with Britain, where public sector inefficiencies are becoming a political flashpoint. The growing disparity between public and private sector wages and pensions is a sore spot for taxpayers, especially as unions demand shorter work weeks amid declining productivity. Labour's strict adherence to net zero goals under Keir Starmer is increasingly viewed as an economic albatross, prioritizing environmental virtue signaling over practical growth strategies. With energy prices soaring and the economy stagnant, the stage is set for Reform UK to capitalize on voter frustration. Nigel Farage's Reform Party offers a stark alternative. By rejecting big government and restrictive climate policies, Reform positions itself as the voice of economic pragmatism and individual responsibility. Farage's narrative frames Labour and the Conservatives as two sides of the same ineffective coin, unable, or unwilling, to tackle Britain's pressing challenges. However, the government's potential postponement of local elections risks painting Labour as undemocratic, further galvanizing support for Reform UK. Yet, risks remain. Over-reliance on Trump's success in the US could backfire if his policies falter or fail to deliver the promised economic revival. Reform UK's uncompromising stance on net zero might alienate environmentally conscious voters, particularly the younger demographic. While the party's bold vision resonates with those disillusioned by the status quo, it may face hurdles in appealing to moderates who favor incremental reforms over sweeping changes. As 2025 approaches, the world stands at a crossroads. Will Trump's policies ignite a global economic resurgence and set the standard for nations like Britain to follow? Or will unresolved conflicts and policy missteps derail these ambitions? One thing is certain. Nigel Farage's Reform Party is banking on a seismic shift in public sentiment, offering itself as the vanguard of Britain's economic and political revival. The question is, will voters buy in? Reform UK's strategic bet. Entrepreneurs and big names lead the charge. Joseph Valente's call to action for entrepreneurs signals a deliberate and calculated alignment of Reform UK with the UK's business community, a group historically frustrated by the weight of overregulation, sky-high taxes, and bloated government inefficiencies. By directly addressing these pain points, Reform UK positions itself as the natural home for those who drive economic growth and innovation. The support of entrepreneurs and business owners doesn't just promise potential financial backing. It provides Reform UK with a stamp of credibility as the pro-growth alternative to Britain's political status quo. Elon Musk's endorsement further elevates this narrative. Musk, the global poster child for innovation and disruption, amplifies Reform UK's image as a bold challenger to the establishment. His focus on efficiency, technological advancement, and economic pragmatism mirrors the party's priorities, creating a powerful synergy that speaks to tech-savvy, forward-thinking voters. Musk's backing isn't just a nod of approval, it's a symbolic alignment with a global movement rejecting bloated bureaucracy in favor of empowering individual initiative and market-driven progress. The rallying cry to make Britain's economy boom again resonates deeply with a nation fatigued by economic stagnation. Reform UK's promise to slash bureaucracy, roll back restrictive climate policies, and champion entrepreneurship offers a direct contrast to the perceived paralysis of Labour and Conservative leadership. For a country hungry for solutions, the party's focus on growth and deregulation is a welcome departure from the status quo. By focusing on the business community, Reform UK positions itself as the party of economic revival, capable of attracting not only disillusioned voters, but also crucial campaign funding from those who see their entrepreneurial values reflected in its platform. Aligning with figures like Valente and Musk enhances its appeal to a professional demographic, many of whom might have once been staunch conservative supporters. However, this strategy isn't without its risks. While endorsements from high-profile figures add heft to Reform UK's campaign, they could alienate ordinary voters who may see Musk and Valente as emblematic of elite interests. Reform UK's sharp focus on deregulation and its opposition to net zero policies could also spark backlash, particularly among environmentally conscious voters and those wary of unchecked business priorities. Over-reliance on celebrity endorsements could risk the perception that Reform UK lacks a distinctive policy platform, leaning too heavily on the reputations of others. Despite these challenges, Valente's rallying cry has the potential to galvanize significant grassroots and financial support, particularly among entrepreneurs and small business owners who feel overlooked by the current political establishment. This demographic wields outsized influence in shaping economic discourse, giving Reform UK a unique opportunity to amplify its message and broaden its base. With endorsements from both national and global figures, Reform UK is carving out a distinct identity as a party that transcends domestic politics, aligning itself with a broader pro-business, anti-establishment movement. Valente's endorsement, coupled with Musk's backing, adds a sense of urgency and momentum to the campaign. To succeed, however, Reform UK must ensure it doesn't alienate the average voter, striking a balance between appealing to business leaders and offering a clear, relatable vision for Britain's future. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our latest videos and stay ahead of the curve on the issues shaping our world. For even more, join our free Telegram group, link in the description, for uncensored, no holds, barred discussions on the topics that matter most. Be part of the conversation. Your voice counts.